Hi everyone, welcome to this video on the Wara channel. Today we're going to talk about the different creations that we can find at the Kailash complex at Kailash Mountain, okay, in Tibet and China, okay. And what we can see there, when we look at it, you see that, there are different streams of mountains, essentially lines of mountains, and you can see from a satellite view that there are a different number of them, right? There are above Kailash, there are 7 of them, and then on the other side of Kailash there's an 8th one which does a trident, right? So mountains that follow a stream of mountains, essentially. So what we have here is we have the different creations, the different lokas, okay? So the different parts of creation, and they are interconnecting, right? There are actually other ones that are underdeveloped as well, but those are the main ones, right? So basically, what we have here is we have the 7 different creations that this is the 7th one, and the other ones that preceded it, right? And so you have the 7 lokas, right, which interconnect, right? As you can see it as different layers of creation that have been added one on top of the other to perfect creation, okay? To give depth to creation and to basically perfect it. So what we have is we have the different lokas. Now there are different names for these lokas in different traditions, okay? But what you can find is that same concept of that they have names as well, right? To the different lokas. So what we have essentially in Zen Wara, right, in the lineage of Teham, in the lineage of Zen Wara, is we have different names for these lokas, okay? These are the names that you can say have been given to those lokas by God himself. Okay, so many things and many different people have many different names, right? Names are something that you can add on, right? You can pile up names, right? But it's the concept, it's the truth behind it, right? And names are very important as well because that truth basically unites under a name, right? Under a word, under a sound, under a vibration, right? And then you can have the spread of that truth under that vibration. So what are the different names of the different lokas, right? Of the different creations that have preceded this one, right? So the different names are as follows. When you're looking at that bottom level loka, okay, you have Bir Bromush, then you have Kalash Vatim, then you have Davar Tromai, then you have Kalum Vachi, then you have Kash Valam, then you have Tir Tromai, and then you have Bir Sacham. So those are the names of the different creations and the different lokas that interconnect, right? Then you have where creation is going towards, right? Towards the 8th loka. So we know 8 is the number of time, right? The number of infinity. So we're going towards the 8th loka, the 8th creation, and basically the systems that are retained from this creation will be transferred over to that 8th loka, which will combine the other lokas as well, and is the completion of the development of the beings and story within the story. So it's the 8th layer of reality, the 8th layer of creation that adds itself as an 8th loka and the development of that loka. So basically life moving over to that loka, right, as the focus point of all the other lokas, because you have a focus point to lokas, which is the loka that is experienced principally, right, the experience in itself. So we have the move to the 8th loka at that point, right? And basically what will that move look like? That's basically the sky going red and the Shris meeting at Kailash to try to hold back the change, and basically the change being put in place by the Marachino, right? By the Siva, by the Savani. So a lot of information on that on this channel. Okay, so those are essentially different names for that creation, for those creations, for those 7 lokas, for those 7 creations, right? So those are different names, and you can find traditionally in yoga practice, other names that are utilized to refer to the different lokas, right? And once again, those names are valid, right? It's just that they have other names as well, other ways of seeing things. So once again, in Zen Wara, and it's not that important to remember these things necessarily, but you can practice, Bir Bromush, Kalash Vatim, Davar Tromai, Kalum Vachi, Kashvalam Tirthromai Birsacham. Right? So you can practice also meditating on the name of these lokas as well. Right? And as you meditate on an object, right, if you choose a name as an object of meditation, right, you meditate on the vibration of all that falls under that name, under that vibration, right? So that can be an effective practice as well. So that's why I'm sharing this video, right? The other names of the lokas stay valid, right? The names that we know from the history, from our culture, from our texts of humanity. But these names are also names for these creations, right? So it's good to know that. So thanks for listening.